Hey y'all, well I think we've reached a part in the Derby Trail where it's appropriate to start thinking about our top 10 contenders. So without further ado, we're going to get to our top 10 Kentucky Derby 151 top 10, our first episode for Monday, February 17th. I want to make a couple of notes so you understand how I qualify these horses. I put an emphasis on two-turn form, as I think we ought to, because Kentucky Derby is, of course, a two-turn race. I also put emphasis on horses who have competed at the graded stakes level. So you're not going to find any maidens who promise potential or horses at the allowance level who look pretty good who are moving forward. They've got to do it at the stakes level, at the minimum graded stakes, preferably. That does not mean that I will exclude horses who had good one-turn form at two, who promise that perhaps they may be good at two turns once they get on the Derby Trail. So those are the qualifications. There are a couple of horses here that you may have followed at two, were excited about, that were not on this list, and it's only because we haven't seen them yet at three, and there are others who have run at three who, based upon their performance, warrant being on the list. Most notably, I'll say First Resort is a horse who didn't make the list, but certainly could make a lot of top 10 lists right now. I also want to note that Magnitude does not make the list, and there's only one reason for that. Do it again, because that Risen Star was so much better than anything he had run prior to that. I have to see that he's truly become another horse and he's truly improved. And so wherever he runs next, if he does that again, he's going to be at the top of the list, without a doubt. But right now, based upon all his races prior to the Risen Star, he wouldn't make any list. So I'm withholding judgment. Let's call him and First Resort and some of the other more prominent ones that you don't see on this list as honorable mention right now. And that certainly this list will change. We know it does as we move forward at the graded stakes level. So we're going to go from number 10 to number 1, and we'll start with number 10, which is Built. This is an honest horse. He brings it every time. Got a first in the Gun Runner, second in the LeCompte, third in the Risen Star. Frankly, I have a feeling this may be the last time he makes a top 10 list. This is a good, honest horse. I would be proud to own him. He brings it every time. You can't ask any more from a horse than what Built gives you. The problem is there are others who are just better. And that's really what it comes down to. Of all the horses on the Derby Trail, I think we know this one best of all, that we know what he is. He's a hard trier. He's a good horse. But I think he's reached the zenith of what he's going to do. But he certainly warrants consideration because he's placed in the 3 stakes races all around 2 turns that he's run on this year. But do note, as the class levels are increasing from ungraded grade 3 to grade 2, he is going from first to second to third. I don't think the distance is a problem. I just think the waters are getting a little deep for him. So Built is number 10. Number 9 is Disco Time, who beat Built in the LeCompte last time. That was a breathtaking race. I just was so impressed by it to close that wide, being from behind like that, to chase down Innovator and then Built. That was a very impressive effort. Certainly moving from the allowance company to the stakes, graded stakes in your first try. I'm really impressed. The figures came back a little light from the buyer perspective. However, I'm pretty sure the Thorograph was a lot better than that because they do account for horses losing ground and things of that nature. This is a nice horse. He is liable to, he could fall off the list or he could move up depending upon him improving his speed figures, I think. And let's see what he does with a little classier field. But I like Disco Time. He's a nice horse right now. Had a little setback, so we're not sure where we're going to see him next. But this is a really nice horse, and I think he merits consideration on the list at this time. Okay, you can stop groaning. I've groaned a lot over the last couple of days about the Risen Star. Number 8 is East Avenue. I think this horse just needed a race, but that is 2 clunkers in a row. They did solve the gate issue. He broke fine in the RZA Star. He put himself. Tyler Gaffalione had him exactly where he should have been. He just didn't have the horse. That's what it came down to. I think he's just a horse who needed a race. May have been a little sharp. His work tab was really good. So with a race under him, second off the layoff, which is a good angle for Brendan Walsh, he could very well come right back to what we're expecting of him. But right now, all he is, he won a grade 1 at 2. That's all he is right now. But he could very well get himself right back into the top 5 or at the top of the class with a good effort in the Louisiana Derby or wherever he runs next. Chance McPatrick, number 7. Now, again, before you say, hey, Alex, I didn't think we were going to have one-turn horses. I said we can have one-turn horses on the list if it's pretty clear that they have the potential to be good at 2 and they had very good 2-year-old form, and that's Chance McPatrick right between the eyes. I do worry that he's another Blazing Sevens who's not necessarily as effective around 2 turns. When you see horses coming from behind like they do around 1, that is a logical question. However, he really hasn't done much wrong. I just want to see him around 2 turns before we know what we've got with him. But right now, he's a horse with some pretty good potential. But like East Avenue, he's just a horse who won a grade 1 at 2 years old. That's all he is right now. But liable to move up the list. We'll see where he goes next. Number 6 is Barnes. Another one. Everything looks pretty good. You know, he's Bob Baffert. He's Juan Hernandez, Zedon Racing. He named him after his assistant, Jimmy Barnes. The pedigree screams 2 turns. We just haven't seen it yet. That's my only issue. He won his maiden at Churchill, so we know he likes the track. I just got to see it around 2 turns. That's it. He could very well go right to the top wherever he ends up next, if he to San Felipe or wherever Bob Baffert chooses to put him. But right now, he has to be down lower on the list because we haven't seen him around 2 turns. But certainly the potential is there, and I don't think you can leave a horse like Barnes off the list. Number 5 is Burnham Square. I love this horse. I'm going to say right off the bat, I would love nothing more than to put him at number 1, but can't do it. That Holy Bull was just a fantastic race. And I love the progression. This horse is getting better with every start, and you love hearing about a horse that he doesn't get tired. And that's how he was able to rally in the Holy Bull like that. He's got 2-turn pedigree. I love this horse. I cannot wait to see him in the Fountain of Youth or the Florida Derby, wherever he goes next. But to me, he's number 5 with a bullet. I'm really liking Burnham Square a lot. Number 4 is Sandman. Now, I give Sandman a little bit of an edge over Burnham Square in that I kind of like that Southwest Stakes field a little better than the Holy Bull. And I have seen a couple of races that really get me excited about this one's turn of foot. He really knows how to bring it. If they can get him out of the gate a little better in the Rebel Stakes, I think we got a really dangerous horse here for the Derby. He's just shown me that this one's got a lot of potential. Now, the drawback, of course, he's a tappet, and it's all between the ears with the tappets. So, you know, there's potholes potentially along the way. But right now, I really like this horse, and I think that if he can win the Rebel Stakes, where I don't see a whole lot of speed signed up, and he has to close into a slow pace and still does it, then we really know we got something. But right now, I think this one has a lot of potential, and I like Sandman a lot. Number 3 is Journalism. Won the Low South Futurity, a speed favoring track, was able to close into it and take it down. 2-turn pedigree all day. I can't wait to see this one run at 3. A non-Baffert out in California, Mike McCarthy, nice trainer. Nice to see him finally get a Derby horse that looks for real. So Journalism, to me, there's a whole lot of potential here, and I'm looking forward to seeing him run. Number 2 is Sovereignty. Needless to say, those of you who have been on the channel before know I love Bill Mott. Bilmont, I would love nothing more. I know he won a Derby with Country House and a DQ of Maximum Security, but I want to see him win a legitimate one, and I think he's got a really good candidate here. I love that street sense. Great turn of foot, very professional, and I think the sky's the limit for this horse. I'm really excited about him. Great dam. Bernardini dams are always awesome. So, Sovereignty to me, I want to see it at 3, of course. Want to see what the next prep is, how he does. But I think this one is a really prime Derby contender at this point, if he can build on what he did at 2. Number 1 is Citizen Bull. Okay, I know the smirks, the groans, the consternation, the disagreement. I get it. I get all of it. Okay, but he did win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He did come back in the Bob Lewis and won it pretty much with ease. He's the king right now, and let's stress that right now. We know that Bob Baffert has a lot of great 3-year-olds. He always does. And Barnes, very well, may be better than Citizen Bull. We just saw Getaway Car come back and win the Sunland Derby. We'll see what Matticat Road does in the Rebel Stakes. Gaming, haven't given up on him completely yet, but are pretty close. There's a lot of candidates here, and let's not forget about Rodriguez, who, in my opinion, may be better than all of them. But right now, Citizen Bull is on the top of the heap. I don't expect him to stay there. I'll be clear about that. But right now, based upon prior record, the BC Juvenile, the fact he came back in a graded stakes around 2 turns and repeated that, tells me that he's ready to move forward at 3. And he's going to have a lot of contenders for the lead in the Derby. That's true. But, he right now, he's number 1. So, there's our list. Now, here it is memorialized for you to take a look at, shoot holes at, throw darts at. I understand. Nobody's list, 2 lists are the same. We all know this. I expect there to be disagreement. I'm very anxious always to hear your comments and tell me why you don't like a horse and why you do. We all have opinions, and that's the great thing about horse racing. And we all have to can listen to each other. And sometimes, I'm not a genius by any means, and so I'm certainly willing to listen to anybody else's input. And if we all put our heads together, we can put together a really good Derby top 10, and then, hey, it'll be a piece of cake getting the Superfecta home. So that's our first edition of the top 10. We'll see what happens in the Rebel Stakes and the week after in the Fountain of Youth. I think there'll be a lot of movement for sure, and we'll just see what happens. Certainly, I hope you enjoy this, and I welcome your comments. Please, I'd love to hear from you as we move along towards Kentucky Derby 151. If you do like content like this, of course, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks to all of you who've recently come on board. That's it from here. Be on the lookout for our sequence post for Rebel Stakes Saturday. We're going to have an individual post on the Honeybee as well. The Rebel Stakes is already up as a post, so I encourage you to take a look at that. We also did a replay analysis of the Risen Star that I think answered a couple of questions for us, and of course, as they always do, post a couple of more. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.